Good morning, I'm Sharaad Kuttan and welcome to BFM's Morning Headlines. It is the 14th of February, which means it's Valentine's Day. Yes, folks, it's the day that leads to baby dumping, according to some. But we won't go into that. Today we're looking at more serious stuff. The Edge Financial Daily. Now that's a story that will deepen your understanding of what's happening in Kajang. So the claim is that Tan Sri Khalid Ibrahim, the Menteri Besar of Selangor, has done a deal with Bank Islam, who have been trying to sue him since 2008 for a loan issue between them. Now they've agreed to settle out of court. The question is, what was traded beyond that? And that's the subject of some controversy. Critics are saying that perhaps he had to compromise himself in this deal because, among other things, and that's mentioned in the story, that prominent lawyers linked to UMNO were involved in the settlement. Now, is this raising suspicion among his fellow party members? Perhaps. He says there was no cause for concern. He said that he kept the party in the dark about those negotiations because it's really a personal matter, not an issue for the party. So that's a substantial story to read this morning. Now, 5 other newspapers go with a single story. Most of them don't deal with it in a particularly critical manner, but let's start with the first one. Cheap homes for 10,000. Yes, folks, 10,000. And what do each of these recipients, these 10,000, get? So they get a subsidy of 30,000. What do you do when you times 10,000 by 30,000? Folks, you get 300 million. 300 million, that's the bill to help the poor, the working class, those who need help with home ownership. The question, of course, that needs to be asked, as with all schemes for low-end or low-cost housing, is the target group going to be the recipients of those homes? As you know, many people who earn quite a bit of money own low-cost housing. Now, so many of the newspapers carry it as if this was taken for granted, that the scheme would work out and the people who are targeted will get it. Housing cheer, it seems, except in Penang. It's never good in Penang, not as long as the New Straits Times is reporting it. My home joy, my home joy. Yes, my home joy. All the newspapers carry it. Subsidy rumor. Remember, we were trying to do things that something called subsidy rationalization. We were trying to think about how we're spending taxpayer money and the money we get from our natural resources. Well, it's very hard because politicians earn support through giving money away. Money that's not theirs. Subsidies. More subsidies. Now this house, what is the total cost of all the subsidies that have been announced? Nobody's telling us. The media is not asking the question. Sina Harian has a story on that PKNS row. The 19 are now filing a appeal against their sacking. Remember, they are contract workers, not full-time staff, at the PKNS, the Selangor State Development Authority. Now, a story about drought. That's a big story, in fact. And you have there Air Empangan Klang Gates surut, which means it's receding. And the drought story is also in the Malay Mail with a dire warning. Remember, yesterday their headline was critical. Today they're saying 2 million people in the Klang Valley face water cuts. And that's if the drought continues, the heat wave continues for the next 3 weeks. So that's 2 million people in 3 weeks' time, and 300 million, that's 8 zeros, I counted them, 8 zeros, 300 million ringgit for subsidies. So, question is, can you count? And the reason I ask this is because Harian Metro has a major story. Paku Lambai Syaitan. So, Lambai is just a calling forth, beckoning. These are nails, the nails that call forth the devil. Now, the man who bought the nails wanted to actually ward off the devils. Instead, he called forth the devils, and it affected his wife. And the paper tells us that Mr. Fauzi here, no last name, 32, didn't expect this when he bought the 4 nails. But look at this, folks. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perhaps you got that one for free. Anyway, people at Harian Metro can't count. That's all I have for you this morning. Remember, it's very important to know how to count. I'm Sharaad Kuttan. It's been BFM's Morning Headlines this 14th of February. Happy Valentine's Day. BFM 89.9.